this friendship between the two of them were at the core of it, and then, of course, also Chris Paul and Melo. But the two of them who went to go play together in Miami, what would you guys say, Marc? What's the legacy of that friendship and the way it reverberated throughout the league?
One thing that stood out to me was the respect that LeBron had. I mean, you're the best player in the game, and when you go to Miami and you're not trying to take over, he respected Wade County. He was introduced first, not last. And he let his aura just naturally be there instead of walking in and saying he was the face of the franchise, which he could have done. So that, to me, showed a lot of respect for Wade and his legacy in Miami.
I mean, flat out, they changed the league. I mean, I think that we always refer to the decision in 2010 as LeBron's decision, but it was as much Dwyane's decision and Chris Bosh's decision. And the fact that 3 players got together and decided, we're going to come together and form a super team, that has not happened in the league before. Other super teams have been formed, but not in that way.
And not by player agency.
Not by player agency.
And I think their friendship is so important in that we don't talk about it enough, because first of all, the trust that they had to have in each other to do that is something that I think if they hadn't had that at the base of it, it would never have happened in the first place, and it wouldn't have worked. And then also, you know, the idea that when they were there, they could sort of work through the hard times, and they've been open about that too. It was not all roses playing together either time. And the fact that they could always come back to each other and sort of that base friendship they had made it work, and then made other teams and players around the NBA.
And, you know, I always look at their friendship, and, you know, we saw what happened last year in Cleveland, and I think that's sort of a postscript to this. But I go back to this conversation I had with Dwyane after LeBron left Miami to go back to Cleveland. And I asked him, I go, was that hard for you? Because you're breaking up the super team. Right. This is, you know, in your heart, it's probably not going to win anymore now that LeBron's leaving. And he was on the plane with him, going back to Miami,
as we famously know, after he made the call to go back to Cleveland.
And Dwyane said, didn't you try to like lobby him? Didn't you try to talk him back in? And he goes, no, look, I just said, go do what's best for LeBron. I'm your friend. I'm going to care about you no matter what. And if this is what's best for you, then I want what's best for you. And that's real friendship. And you don't see that very often in a high stakes game like professional sports.
And Marc, not everyone's been happy about it. These guys, even before they played together in Miami, when they were opponents in Cleveland and Miami, they'd stay at each other's houses for opposing road games. They'd go out to dinner. And there were a lot of people, old school, who would say, oh, back in the day, Larry Bird would never have dinner with Magic Johnson. Well, how do you think they changed the way people look at that? Because they ushered in more of that AAU era of, hey, it's not like the first time we've met is in the NBA. We've all been friends for a while here, guys.
And we got to give Bosh some credit for being a part of that as well. Because he was certainly an all-star and somebody that was an elite player in the league. And, you know, Bill Russell and Wilt went to dinner. You know, so much is made of it. But it was amazing because it was 3 guys that respected each other, that got together, and all of them had so much to lose. And I just remember how much pressure they had on them. And it didn't start out great, not in the least. And the Dallas thing wasn't great. And LeBron took a lot of heat from that, but no pun intended. But they collectively were something special. And I think Miami, some Heat fans might say different. They need to retire his jersey, LeBron's jersey at some point.
I certainly would expect that. We'll see what happens.